Today I'm going to show you how to create a table using a module in Microsoft Access. First of all, what you would do normally is open up Visual Basic, go Insert and Module, which will give you a blank screen all along here. This will all be blank. I already have my module wrote out to demonstrate this, so I'm not going to insert a new module. The code here, as I'm going to highlight now, never changes when creating a table. This code creates a table and initializes the table, and then in the inverted commas here at the end of the code you would put in whatever table name you wish. Then you've got to specify the fields. So most of the code you will see comes up over and over again when you're creating fields. First one is my car ID, and it's an auto number, which means when you're adding that into the fields, this field will automatically put a number in itself. So how you do that, you set field equals dot create field, and then in the inverted commas car ID, and after the comma it's db long, which means it can be a long number. Then the next field is a text field with a maximum number of characters of 30, and this field is required, which means data must be entered into this field. So you set field equals dot create field, the same as above, and then in the inverted commas make, followed by a comma and db text, which states that it's a text format, and then the 30, which means 30 is the maximum number of characters that can be entered into the field. The next one is another text field with a maximum number of characters of 30 again, but it's not required. As you can see above here, the field dot required equals true, which means it is required. Next one is just, so as I said, field dot append dot create field. This is just a code you have to use. In inverted commas, then the name of the field, which is model, again db text, and the maximum number is 30. And then a number field. So it's the same code as above, dot fields, dot append, dot create field. Then inside the bracket, and then inside the inverted commas, you've got the field name, which is horsepower, and db double, which means it's a number, but it can use like a point and so forth. The next field is a date and time field with a validation rule. So you use the same code as above again. Set field equal dot create field, inverted commas inside the brackets, and date build, which is the name, and db date, which declares it as a date format. Then field dot validation rule equals is null or less than or equal to date in the brackets, and the validation text then. So field dot validation text equals inverted commas, and then birth date cannot be future, so it has to be before. Next field then is a number field, which is the same as you go back to the one up the top there, very same code, dot field dot append dot create field, bracket, inverted comma, driver ID, inverted comma close, comma, and then db integer, which says as a number field. That one there has no maximum number. And then you go to end. That's where you end creating your table. So to save the driver's car table, you just this code is always going to be used again as above. You always use the same code, and then in the inverted commas at the end of the code, you'd have the when you print it out, then it will print out driver's cars, or whatever table you created will come up. And then a cleanup then, which is just entered into the bottom of your code every time as well. So it's application.refresh database window, set field nothing, set tdf nothing, and set db nothing. Thanks. For this video, I'm going to show you how to create a relationship between two tables using a module of Microsoft Access. The first few lines of code are used to create the relationship and to initialize it. This code never changes. It's the same for every relationship you go to create using the module. Then you have to set up the new relation. and you do that by set rel equals db.createRelation bracket inverted comma and then tbl dao and then the name of the first table, which is driver's cars, and then 2 and the other table, which is driver, closure inverted comma and closure bracket. Then you have to define the properties. So the first table then dot table equals, and then inside inverted commas you have drivers, which is the first table, and then the foreign table you create it by dot foreign table equals inverted commas drivers cars, which is the second table inverted commas. So they're the two tables you're going to be joining up. That's how you create them. Specify attributes for cascading updates and cascading the deletes. So that's done by dot attributes equals db relation update cascade plus db relation delete cascade. So to add the fields to the relation, the set field equals dot create field and driver ID, which is the field is going to be joining up, and in the other table then field dot foreign name equals driver ID. So there's the primary one, primary relation, and then the foreign relation then is driver ID. Now and then so just to append the field, dot fields dot append field, and repeat for the other fields if it's a multi-field relation. And then this code is used again just to clear it up and to finish it off. This code never changes. The only thing that changes when you go debug.print, actually no, sorry, it never changes. Thanks. For this video I'm going to show you how to add data to fields in a table using a module in Microsoft Access. So this code, as you can see, the first two lines here is code you will use always when creating or when adding fields. You know, you would always use this code. And then this code here is what you would use to connect each time you're going to add data. So for each row of data you're going to enter, you need to do this for it. So set rst namelist1 equals application.currentdb.open record set, which opens up the records, and then inverted commas the name of the table you're going to enter that into, and db open dynaset, close the bracket. So then you come down to your first row or your first set of fields you're going to fill in. So now rst namelist1 is repeated the whole way for every field. So you go rst namelist1 dot add new, which sets up the new record, and then you go rst namelist1, and instead of the dot you have the exclamation mark, car ID, which is the name of the field, and you set it to equal to 1. rst namelist1 as above, exclamation mark, make, name of the field is make, equals, and inside the inverted commas then Ferrari. So you repeat this for every field you're going to fill in. So rst namelist1 model, name of the field again, equals, inside the inverted commas F101, and the same again. So rst namelist1 is used every time you're adding the data, and the exclamation mark, and then you just, all you change every time then is the name of the field and the values that's going into the field. And then for the date, it's the same as always, but after the equal sign, the date comes inside two hash symbols. And then at the end it's rst namelist1 dot update. And then for the second row, it's the very same, but instead of rst namelist1, it's rst namelist2, and it's the very same. And for 3 and 4 and 5, it's the very same. The only thing that changes is the values that go in. Thanks. For this video I'm going to show you how to create a query using a module in Microsoft Access. So how you do this then, you function create query DAO open and close brackets, and then dimdb as dao.database, dimqdf as dao.querydef. These three lines of code will never change when creating a query. And then you set the database to the current database. So this is the part that's most important in the query. This is where the query is set up. So my query is going to be, to explain, first of all, my driver's cars table relates to my driver's table. So in the driver's table at the end there's a driver's car ID which relates to a driver's cars table, which shows all the cars details per driver. So you select, so DC as you can see here is declared here, and it means driver's cars table, and D as you can see is for the driver's table, as you can see here. So what we do is qdf.sql equals inside inverted commas and select the driver's cars dot make, so that's driver's cars table and the field make, comma then onto your next one, which is dc dot model as before. Your table is driver's cars dot model, so then you have dc date built, dc horsepower, and then d dot driver id, which is driver table dot driver id, which is the field, from driver, which is D, that's declared to D, and then driver's cars here is declared as DC, as I said before, and then where, so where D dot driver ID is equal to DC dot driver ID, so that says where the two driver IDs match, and the next part then d.driver ID is greater than 10. So in the driver's table, when the driver's ID is greater than 10, it will show the details of their car that they have. Then to close off the query, set qdf equals nothing, set db equals nothing, debug.print inside the inverted commas query my agent created end function. So this code never changes. The only thing that changes is inside the inverted commas to whatever you wanted to print out, and that's it. Thanks for watching. For this video I'm going to show you how to update a record to a table it's already created using a module in Microsoft Access. So you will create a module, and inside the module it's very similar to creating a new record into it. You create private sub. This is just your set code. It's always the same, apart from your table name, which can change depending on your table. And then you set the table to be open in the background so it can update as you work. So then, as creating a new record, you said RST name list. So this will be 21, the same as the name list up here. And then dot add new, and then as usual RST name list 21, and inside exclamation mark, and then car ID, and you set it equal to 21. So this is your car ID, then is the name of your field, and the 21 is the data that's going to be in that field. And as below, same as above, make is the name of the field, and Renault is the data that's going to be in the field, and it's the same throughout for each field. And then at the end, RST name list 21 dot update. That's exactly how you do it. This code at the bottom will be the code you will use every time again to finish off your update. This code will never change. You just type it into the bottom of your module. Thanks.